What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly Sports History for February 7th, 2025. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Feel Good Friday edition of the podcast, the last Feel Good Friday of football season. No matter what, a Super Bowl Feel Good Friday. We made it through yesterday. I was saying yesterday was a tough day, and we made it through. It is a sprint now towards Super Bowl Sunday. But before we get into the show, like we always do, some quick housekeeping notes. And I always say I try to make sure everything I put on here is accurate, do a ton of research and making sure everything I get is correct. Couple of corrections from yesterday, though. I did say when talking about the Super Bowl, when McNabb got hit early back in Super Bowl 39, that likely today we'd have seen A.J. Philly or Coy Detmer. A.J. Philly was not on that Super Bowl team. Coy Detmer was the backup, and Jeff Blake. So A.J. Philly, you would not have seen him in Super Bowl 39 if he came in for Donovan. So I wanted to make sure that was there. Also, talking about Brandon Graham, I mentioned he could do something that nobody else had done. Him, Lane, and Jake Elliott winning 2 Super Bowl titles. Left out Lovato. Completely forgot that he was on the 2017 team as well. So Lovato, Lane Johnson, BG, and Jake Elliott would be the 4 guys that could win 2 Super Bowl titles for the Eagles. But again, want to make sure everything is correct. So Rick Lovato, I apologize for leaving you out. All right, still not too late to buy cookies from Ella. All the information you need is in the description. It's still not too late. Blocks are going fast. There's not many left for the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame fundraiser block pool for the Super Bowl. So all that is the first thing in the description. So be sure to get your squares in soon. Don't wait till the last minute because likely they'll be sold out. We had a great ballot meeting last night where we started to finalize the ballot for this year's induction class. So all of that proceed goes to the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame, but that is in the description. Don't wait till it's too late. I believe there's under 20 blocks left. So if I know I've done it before, you wait till the last minute and you try to scoop up the last 2 or 3. Don't wait because this week they have been selling like hotcakes, as they like to say. Be sure to follow me on social media, Jimbo_Mont on Twitter and TikTok. On Instagram, at PhillyJimbo. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jimbo_Mont, and continue to spread the word because before we get into the episode, I got a little bit of a rant here, and the word is spreading. People are listening to this. People are aware of this podcast, so continue to spread the word. I appreciate it. So my rant here, and ordinarily, the Friday before the Super Bowl, I would not do this. It happens all the time. I get it. The content space for Philadelphia sports is not that big. For being such a large media market, really, the content space is really, really small. So the fact that I'm able to carve out any type of niche in there is great. But I know people are listening. I've talked about it before when Channel 10 was doing Positivity Tuesdays. Like, come on. Like, we do Tuesdays positivity/motivation. I was okay with that. I've talked a lot about how the WIP Midday Show has some questions a lot of the time that are very similar to my questions of the day. So I don't know if Kyle Quinn is listening. I don't know if it's because Hugh Douglas is big with Ryan from Philly Goat. He's listening. I don't know, and I'm okay with that. All I ask is you give me credit for it. But I have to call this one out because it was so egregious, so blatant. On Wednesday, I asked the question of the day. 2 minutes left in the game, 4-point game. Who would you rather on the field? The offense trying to win the game or the defense trying to stop Patrick Mahomes? That was the question of the day. And I get it. It's Super Bowl week. We all share a collective sort of camaraderie because we've lived through being Philly fans, specifically Eagles fans. And we know these scenarios pop up and totally could be something that happens in the Super Bowl. We had some fun with it. Pretty much everybody wanted to be in control and be on the offense. Well, yesterday I get a text message from my brother who saw this on one of the Philly fan sites on Facebook that they were saying, oh, well, WIP is asking a great question this morning, and they were talking about it in the Facebook group. And again, whatever. I talk about, like, I didn't get a chance to listen to any WIP this week because my schedule at work was so busy, but usually I'll have it like on in the background when I'm catching up on paperwork and everything. But I hadn't listened at all. So I'm like, oh, what's the question? And I was reading through it. Looked awfully familiar to a certain question of the day that This Day in Philly Sports History posted on Wednesday. And look, James Seltzer, if you're the producer of the show, you're the guy that does the Twitter, take my stuff. That's fine. Like I said, like, it's a small space, and listen, if it was a good question, fine. Talk about it. Have it as your question of the day. All I ask is if you give me some type of credit, some type of shout out. And again, this is not me being, oh, my podcast, this, that, and the other. That's just too egregious, too blatant for anybody. And because it was literally word for word the exact same question. And again, I'm fine with it. Give me a shout out. I'm not trying to take your job. Like, I have it made with my state pension working in education. So it's going to take a Brinks truck worth of money for me to leave that job to do this full time. But just give me a shout out. I would like to have this be a little bit of a profitable side gig. And if you're going to take my stuff, that's fine. If you want me to give you ideas, hit me up. Like, I could work as an independent contractor. That's fine. But to me, that was just so blatant. At least when Kyle Quinn on the afternoon show and Hugh, when they asked the questions, at least they change it around to make it look a little different. This was like blatant, like a copy and paste of my question of the day. But again, it's not a big space. I get it. Just give me a shout out. Like, I'm not coming for your job. Trust me, unless they're going to, WIP or Odyssey is going to back up Brinks truck, then maybe. But listen, we can all work together. We can share this space. As they used to say in the cartoons, this town ain't big enough for the two of us. Yeah, it's big enough for all of us. There's plenty of room. I have my niche. I'm fine with it. But at least give me a shout out. Help a brother out if you're going to steal my stuff, man. But again, it's Super Bowl week. January, we did forgiveness. So James Seltzer, WIP, I do forgive you. It's all good. It's all good. Let's focus on the Super Bowl, but just, man, give me a shout out. And it is kind of humbling and makes me feel good because at least people are aware of this and they're and like, you can say what you want. There's no way that was not taken from me because the exact wording, 4 minutes or 4-point game, 2 minutes left in the game, like the exact same scenario, the exact same wording. Come on now. Just help a brother out. That's all I'm saying. But it's all good. I forgive you. We don't need that negativity. But I wanted to make all of you aware of that because the word is spreading. The word is spreading. And that's all I ask. All right. Reluctantly, let's talk about the Sixers. And in today's episode of What the Heck Are the Sixers Doing? At the trade deadline yesterday, they traded Reggie Jackson, a first-round pick in 2026, for Jarrett Butler and 4 first-round picks. I mean, I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. I don't know if they got better. I don't know if they got worse. They made it under the luxury tax threshold, which I guess is what they were aiming for or trying to do. It does give them some flexibility, I guess, for next year. But I don't know if this is them waving the white flag for this year. Butler is an interesting player to bring in, has a ton of upside, won MOP of the NCAA tournament. Is this like process 2.0? I don't know. They certainly did not get better. They may have the potential to get better. The guys they brought in for Caleb Martin, KJ Martin, and Reggie Jackson sort of are lower, I guess it would be a step down, but the upside is higher than those guys, I guess, if you look at it that way. So we'll see. I don't know if there's going to be some more cuts, buyouts, whatever coming on the horizon. But I guess it does give them some flexibility coming up this offseason. I don't know. Like I said, I'm glad I did not jump back on. Growing here, showing some self-control, and making smart decisions in my old age. They are in action tonight, though, out in Detroit. And in a shocking upset, Joel Embiid is not on the injury report. So I would imagine, barring some sort of catastrophe, which with Joe, who knows, he hurt his knee in Boston warming up. Looks like Joe's going to play tonight. Paul George is available. He's dealing with the pinky injury. I was kind of disappointed that they didn't trade him. Maybe that's an offseason move. Who knows? But Sixers, Pistons tonight against our old pal Tobias. We'll get to see Tobias tonight. But Joe is not on the injury report. And if anybody can explain to me what the Sixers are doing and make it make sense, I'd appreciate it. Hit me up because I don't know. I don't see that they got better. If anything, they stayed the same, which we're going to end up screwing around, not get into the play-in tournament, not get a top 6 pick, and be back to square one. I don't know. Flyers played last night, lost to the Washington Capitals 4-3. They had a 3-2 lead heading into the third period. Matvei Michkov had 2 goals. Michkov mania is running wild, but they couldn't get it done. They had their little league period, gave up 2 goals in the third, losing 4-3 to the Washington Capitals. And again, this is a rebuild, guys. It is a rebuild, so let's just keep that in mind. Be sure to check out my boys over the Clashing Conferences podcast. New episode from the OG NFC East guys dropped yesterday. So busy at work, haven't even had a chance to watch it yet, but that is available wherever you get your podcasts as well as on YouTube. And then go to Philly Goat. They got you covered. Ryan's been watching the Madden simulations as well. Got the new Birds by a Billion shirt. So go check that out. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off of your order. And when I say they got you covered from head to toe, they got you covered from head to toe. So go check it out. It's almost canvas loafer season. And just be sure to scroll through their site, see everything they got, and then use that promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off of your order. All right, so let's start with a recap of yesterday's question of the day. And I swear, WIP, if I see this same question on your Twitter account today, I might have to come down and talk to James Seltzer in person. Not fighting him, just talk to him in person and be like, come on, dude. Give me some credit. But I asked you, which Super Bowl team was better, this 2024 Eagles team or the team that went to Super Bowl 57 2022? 94% of you said it was this year's team, and it's hard to argue that. Most of the people that commented and reached out about it said Saquon obviously is the difference, but this defense is far and away better than that 2022 defense. And I agree. I think a lot of the turnovers and a lot of the sacks they had came from them having big leads, much like the 2017, which as I'm gearing up for Sunday's keys to the game, that's going to play a role in it because I don't necessarily think this is going to be a shootout like those two games because this defense, minus maybe the Tampa Bay game and the fourth quarter against Washington, hasn't really given up like blowout, high point shootout games. And of course the experience factor. I talked about this yesterday, that this team is calloused. This team has been through so much adversity that I think that sets them up. Nick Sirianni has this team ready to play and motivated every week. So I find it hard to believe that we're going to see sort of a repeat of that. But I do agree, 2024, this team is the better team. Thank you, as always, for participating in the question of the day. We will have another one here in a couple minutes. So some surprising injury news came out yesterday. He did practice was a full participant in practice, but Jalen Carter had the flu. I guess he had it earlier in the week, and that's why he missed the media or opening night where they all talked to the media. And thinking back now, after the Washington game, Jalen had sort of a raspy tone in his voice. So I don't know if Jalen was sick too, and it was one of those things that has been going around the team. But apparently, Jalen Carter was a full participant in practice. I don't necessarily see him missing time, and that's huge because that's a key piece of this game. Conditioning, I don't know how that's going to work out, but it's a Super Bowl. You got to let it all hang out for that. Shout out to the superintendent of the school district of Philadelphia who came out and released a video, man after my own heart, former social studies teacher, and he said, we are not going to have a 2-hour delay. In 2018, we did not delay school. Eagles win the Super Bowl. 2023, we delayed school. The Eagles lost. He said, I'm not messing with that. We will be on time for school. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, come on. Schools in Jersey are doing it. No, like that is the 100% correct move. And I know it's all based in superstition, but you know what? We need everything we can get to go our way. So shout out to you, School District of Philadelphia, for not closing or opening early the day after the Super Bowl. And of course, if you haven't seen a lot of these videos yet, man, Gilly, the whole blow the whistle with Too Short has just blown up. It's amazing. I cannot wait for the Eagles to win on Sunday and see everybody doing this. But like everybody's posting videos of it. It's great. It's hilarious. And you got to love it that everybody is coming together and just being goofy with this song. So shout out to you, Gilly. All right. NFL honors were last night. Saquon Barkley, no real shocker here, was the Offensive Player of the Year. Great message from his teammates. They recorded a video basically saying congratulations. This team is just awesome. The way they are all, like, they just seem so close, such a close-knit bunch, and you got to love it. Like, the message, if you haven't seen it yet, look it up. The message they gave him was just outstanding. But the big news, finally, and as LeBron James would say, it's about damn time that Eric Allen is elected into the Hall of Fame. Kudos to the Hall of Fame committee for finally doing the right thing. And congratulations to Eric Allen, one of my favorite players growing up. Number 21 is finally taking his rightful place in the Hall of Fame. Now, little side note. Eric Allen wore number 20. Brian Dawkins wore number 20. Or Eric Allen wore number 21. Brian Dawkins wore number 20. On the eve of Super Bowl 52, one Brian Dawkins was inducted into the Hall of Fame, and we know how that game played out for the Eagles. The next man up, number 21, inducted on the eve of Super Bowl 59. The stars are aligning. If you don't even believe in superstition, like I'm getting chills just thinking about this. The stars are aligned. Brian Dawkins gets inducted. Eagles win the Super Bowl. He wore number 20. Eric Allen gets inducted last night. Eagles playing the Super Bowl on Sunday. Eric Allen wore number 21. But long overdue. Congratulations to Eric Allen for getting into the Hall of Fame. Finally, should have been in years ago, but finally they did the right thing. Now, next on the list, we need to get Seth Joyner in the Hall of Fame. But let's get through this weekend and celebrate Eric Allen. I don't want to take anything away from him. But Seth, we need to start a campaign to get you into the Hall of Fame. That does lead us to today's question of the day, though. Usually, when players get inducted in the Hall of Fame, their numbers are retired. Donovan's is retired. He's not going to be in the Hall of Fame. Jerome's is retired. He's not in the Hall of Fame. But every other number that the Eagles have retired, I believe, are Hall of Famers. So my question to you, do the Eagles retire number 21 this year? Right now it's being worn by Sidney Brown. I'm sure he would have zero problem giving it up. I say you got to do it this year. Celebrate a Super Bowl win. Celebrate Eric Allen getting in. Retire number 21, Jeffrey. Do the right thing. But what do you think? 267-495-8531. That'll get you in. Do the Eagles retire number 21? And I swear, if I see this question on any WIP Twitter today, you will know that they're totally listening. And again, take it. Just give me credit. But I say you do it this season. You retire Eric Allen's number, and celebrate the man who finally gets his due and gets inducted into the Hall of Fame. All right, today we're going to go back to 2015. And on this day in 2015, legendary coach Herb Magee of Philadelphia Textile / Philadelphia University / Jefferson University won his 1,000th career game as a head coach of the Jefferson Rams. They beat Post U out of Connecticut 80-60 at a home game out in East Falls. And Magee became only the second NCAA coach of any level at the time to win 1,000 games, just a couple weeks after Coach K won his 1,000th game. But Herb Magee, also known as the Shot Doctor, coached at Jeff, Textile, Philly U, whatever you want to call it, for 59 years as both an assistant and a head coach. After playing 4 years with them and starring and being a solid player, obviously he could shoot, shot 500 shots a day, was drafted by the Celtics but decided to pursue a career in coaching, never left Textile, Philly U, Jefferson. It was Textile at the time. And essentially, Herb Magee is the face of Jefferson University. He ended up ending his career with 1,144 wins, won the 1970 D2 championship, made 30 NCAA tournaments for Division II. He's a Naismith Hall of Famer, a Pennsylvania Hall of Famer, a Philadelphia Sports Hall of Famer, West Catholic Hall of Famer, and of course he's in the Jefferson University Hall of Fame. And one of my favorite Herb Magee stories is he was offering his services at the time to teach Ben Simmons to shoot. Didn't necessarily reach out to him, but told Brett Brown, hey, have him reach out to me. I will work with him. We'll shoot 500 shots a day, and he will fix his shot. Of course, Ben turned him down and didn't do it. But what could have been? If Ben Simmons would have worked with the Shot Doctor, who knows where we'd be right now with the Sixers. But on this day in 2015, Jefferson University beat Post University 80-60 down in East Falls for Herb Magee's 1,000th career win of his Hall of Fame career. Had an opportunity to meet him a couple times. Just an awesome dude. True Philly guy through and through. So on this day, we shout out Herb Magee, who in 2015 won his 1,000th game. And then finally today, we got a big show today. Our Black History legacy makers with Philadelphia ties. Now, the Eagles have had a long history with black quarterbacks. And for some of you out there that are listening that are younger, there was a time in my lifetime, not that long ago, where there was a stigma against black quarterbacks. They were considered not smart enough to play, and this is like late 80s, early 90s. Not smart enough to play the game. A lot of times they were considered too athletic to play quarterback, whatever that means. A lot of times guys would get drafted, move to running back, wide receiver. We saw that with Cordell Stewart. Hearing the nickname Slash, and that was basically because they didn't think he was good enough. And then when he did get the starting job, he actually didn't do that bad. But the Eagles, to their credit, you had Randall Cunningham, Rodney Peete, Donovan McNabb, Michael Vick, Jalen Hurts now. I mean, if you really want to go Vince Young, he did start a couple games. But Don McPherson was Randall's backup for a couple years. And my fandom, the Eagles, in my time as an Eagles fan, they've had far and away more black quarterbacks than white quarterbacks. And the numbers back that up. The Eagles have had over a few hundred more starts by black quarterbacks than any other team in the NFL. And I think that's a testament. Most of these guys played under Jeff Lurie, and it's a testament to him for just saying, listen, we're not going to buy into the stereotypes. We're not going to buy into all of the ancient rhetoric, whatever you want to call it. We're going to put the guy that is the best for the job in the position to start. It doesn't matter black, white, purple, turquoise, whatever. That's who we're going to put in. But where did it all start? And today we're going to celebrate Johnnie Walton, and he was the Eagles' first black quarterback. Johnnie Walton was Ron Jaworski's backup from 1976 to 1979. played in 15 total games, threw for 3 touchdowns in the 1979 season, including he came into a tied game on Monday Night Football against the Cowboys, who were great at the time. They were the team that the Eagles were trying to overtake. Threw a couple touchdown passes, led a field goal drive, gave the Eagles the lead before Jaworski came back into the game. Didn't have a ton of playing time, but he made the most of what he got. And truthfully, Johnnie Walton paved the way for today's black quarterbacks. He was the first, a lot of times considered the first prominent black quarterback in the NFL. He was a backup, but when Dick Vermeil brought him in, gave him a chance to compete with Ron Jaworski. I mean, we know Ron Jaworski is one of the greatest quarterbacks in Eagles history, so I don't think there's any shame in not beating out Ron Jaworski. But Johnnie Walton is considered a pioneer, a trailblazer, and really set up the black quarterback to be successful. Like, he was the guy that sort of paved the way for Doug Williams winning the Super Bowl with Washington in 1987. He was the guy that paved the way for guys like Randall Cunningham and Donovan McNabb, Michael Vick. And it's just one of those things. So thank you, Mr. Walton. And the Eagles have had a great legacy, a great history with black quarterbacks. And we all know the big names: Rodney Peete, Randall, Donovan, Mike Vick, Jalen. But it all started with Johnnie Walton. Sorry, I'm thinking about my Friday night already. But it all started with Johnnie Walton in the 70s as the backup for Ron Jaworski. So shout out to you, Johnnie Walton, who is today's Black History legacy maker with Philadelphia ties. On this day in 2015, Herb Magee gets his 1,000th win as Jefferson beat Post University 80-60. Just one of the all-time greatest coaches. A very nice guy and just a true Philadelphia legend. So shout out to you, Herb Magee. We'll have more on the Eagles as we start our focus tomorrow on the actual game. Be sure to let me know your thoughts on Eric Allen. Should the Eagles retire his number this year? I say it's a slam dunk. Absolutely yes. 267-495-8531. That'll get you in. WIP, hit me up. Come on. We can work something out here. That's all I'm saying. This space is big enough for all of us. But again, don't want that negativity, so I'm going to forgive you. We'll have more on the Sixers. What's Joe going to do without being on the injury report? I don't know how to react to that. It's bizarre. Anyway, this has been This Day in Philly Sports History for February 7th, 2025. My name is Jim Montgomery. Go have yourselves a feel-good Friday. It's our final feel-good Friday of football season. Let's go out and win the whole effing thing, as Jake Taylor would say. And until next time, I'll see you when I see you.